to the gear shed. It's Matt here. Just going to do another sort of follow-up review on this Montane Grand Tour 55. Now I did a little bit of just a little sneaky one in the Elan Valley. Had a few comments about it. For some reason I keep calling this thing the Ultra Tour because I think that was the original Montane one that I had after all that suffering and trying to make up my mind what fits and what doesn't fit. So we'll have a few pointers and have a talk about this and see my thoughts on it. It's definitely a big improvement on the other packs I've had. My never-ending sorrows of finding a pack that fits me well. Probably the biggest thing I think that is in favour of this pack is that it uses a basically conventional style aluminium frame. Now this is the back panel that comes out of this thing. It's got this plastic, it's quite a hard plastic stiffener here that's sewn onto the sleeve that the aluminium stay goes in. Ooh, trying to do this one-handed. That's just like a basic aluminium stay that's been around for a number of years. It's just a corrugated aluminium stay. The beautiful thing about this, unlike things like the old Boreas, is you can bend it. So you can bend it to the stupid ass funky shape back that you have, which is my one. As you can see, it's got a bit of a shape to it. Right, I mean they say this is removable, but it's a waste of time to remove it because it does affect the carrying ability of this pack immensely once you take it out. As you can see here, we'll show you. It just has a foam back to it, so you can see there it's just got absolutely no support at all. So that greatly affects its ability to carry anything once you take that out. So good points about this thing. It's relatively light. It does carry quite well. I mean, we had quite a bit of weight in it in the Elan Valley because, again, although we've got lots of lightweight kit, I was carrying a whole lot of crap. Trying to try out my Hex Peak F6E winter tent again because I've had a little bit of mixed experience with that. Won't go into it here. We'll do a bit of a catch up on the trip report on that one. So we were carrying a reasonable amount of weight, and generally, you know, especially once summer hits, we're going to strip that down a lot less weight to carry out. The problem is I've got so many bits of gears in the old shed out the back, and in here that I want to use. I end up carrying extra stuff because I just want to play with it and use it and see how it is. And but truth be told, if I didn't have a big amount of crap like that, I wouldn't carry very much at all. So good things about it, yeah. So with the aluminium stay, it does make a big difference in the carrying capacity. Pockets are pretty good. Top pocket's really handy. That came in handy quite a bit. You can get quite a bit of stuff in the top of that. Plus there's a pocket underneath, which is quite handy as well. Putting stuff that you don't need to access all that much. Good place for your car keys and stuff in a plastic bag. Those little bits and pieces you only need at night, you don't need to fuck around with. The top one you can put a bit of snacks, your gloves and stuff in a bag up the top. The two external front pockets. Now, I'm not a big fan of pockets. You would have heard me rant and rave about those in the past. I think the problem I find now, I'm carrying more bits and pieces that I never carried when I used to walk in New Zealand. We call it tramping in New Zealand, walking in New Zealand. Mainly because it's more of just general walking in the UK is more like a alpine environment in New Zealand. So I started taking stuff that is quite popular over here, and I can see why. But it's stuff I wouldn't carry in New Zealand, things like bothy bags, sit mat, what else is there? Yeah, that kind of stuff. So it's stuff like that can end up be put in here. So I don't know. I'm still not convinced on pockets. I mean, the main reason in New Zealand why we don't have things with lots of pockets on the side is they just get caught on stuff because we're going through forest and not obviously open moorland and stuff like that we have in the UK. So I mean, I'm kind of like, I've been using them because they're there, but I wouldn't miss them if they weren't there. The material, we'll see how long it lasts. I mean, there's been reports of it actually ripping and stuff, so we'll see. As you see, I got it quite dirty already. So I'm kind of like with those. The hip pockets, this is another thing that's kind of here or there for me. I find these to be a bit of a pain actually because they're quite far around your back. So on me, they're way back at the back of your hips, just about. So I find them a little bit difficult to get into. So those are kind of, and the other thing I find too is because in the past I've been used to having a pack with just a top pocket, I end up putting stuff in all over the places and I have no idea where it's gone. So it's something I haven't got a system for. So it's something I've really got to work on. So yeah, I mean, they're probably going to be good for snacks and stuff, but we'll see how we go. So those are all the pros. Cons. Shape is a little funny. It ends up being quite a fat pack. It sits quite a fair way from your back, I find. It's like a fat little tortoise shape. So it's not, I'm used to sort of a more straight up and down alpine sort of shape. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of a little gripe, but hey. Probably a lot of straps and extra bits and pieces that I probably won't use. Little things like this, it's not stuff I want to use a lot. And the top opening, I find that it's kind of a little excessive, really. I know what they've tried to do here with this double pull thing, but it just seems to be quite overbuilt for what it really needs to be. It's not going to make it. It makes it like half a nanosecond easier to get into. For a big massive plastic buckle. And as you're right, I look at that and go, well, when that breaks, you can't get a replacement for that. Montane won't have a replacement for that. So it will get broken somewhere along the line, gets caught in the door or something, you can slam it in the car boot, it'll wear out. So that'll get replaced with a toggle anyway. So the other thing is the lid is not it's not an expandable lid, which is kind of a bit of a gripe for my old pack. As you start putting more stuff in it, you can't get the pocket to come over stuff, especially if you put a tent or something on the top, which can be a bit of a pain. And saying that, though, these stretchy side bits, they tend to work quite reasonably well. Again, I don't know how long the stretchiness is probably going to wear out, like most of this sort of stuff. It's just reliant on having lycra and elastin and stuff in it, which will wear out over time. So, yeah. And, right, harness-wise. Right, as I said before, having this aluminium stay is a good idea. That actually makes it carry the load really well. I'm not overly convinced that this white plastic stuff does jack all. It's just allowed them to put less stiffening in the actual pack and just leave it like this. So it's probably ease of manufacture. It's probably quicker and easier to manufacture this than sew this into the pack. So that's saved themselves a bit of wait and time probably. There is an aluminium stay on the top here. I don't think it works quite as well as some packs, but we'll give it to them on that. The hip belt, again, it's stiffer than most of the ones that I've come across, but it's still quite anemic, really, compared to the grand scheme of things. It could be stiffer and carry the weight better. And the other thing is with it, it's the same thing what I was saying before with the Boreas. Is that you can end up with a gap between your shoulder, between your hips and the back of this pack because of the width of this lumbar pad, and then they've sewn these on the side. You see a lot of packs that have a hip belt that goes through here, so it's like a continuous belt that goes around your body. They tend to seem to hold better because it's following the circumference of your hips instead of having this, which is like a pad, and then this being too wide from where your back starts, and you end up with a gap down the back when you roll it around your hips, if that makes any sense. The other thing I've probably found too is because of the way this back panel is, it's not quite as stable side to side as I have with some other packs. Because the contact point, this is a bit raised, so it's not over the whole part of your back, if that makes sense. So, yeah. Overall, it's not a bad pack. Yeah, I'm pretty impressed with it. It's definitely better than all the other stuff we've had, tried. It's got a lot of little minimalistic stuff, and it's an interesting thing looking between this and the X-Ped. The X-Ped just stripped everything away, and it was still lighter than this. This just has lots and lots of features, and they make all the buckles smaller. They put clips and bits and pieces on it and all the rest of the stuff. So they kind of added all the weight up with features. I really like stuff to be simple. I like stuff to last a long period of time, and when I mean last, it's not necessarily heavy duty fabrics. It's stuff that's simple. Simple is always better. Less little buckles, less little doofers. Gimmicky bits and pieces that are gonna break, you're gonna lose, and then it's like the same with the Boreas pack. That frame is really, really light. It would have broken anyway, I think, if you were using it, and then it just makes the pack kind of redundant after that. Which to me, that's Achilles heel. I think with this thing here, it's more Achilles heel wise as buckles and stuff, because it's all proprietary buckles, and you know, you snap one end of that, you're going to have to take all this apart and unstitch it and stuff to get what you want out of it. So, yeah, okay, yeah, I'd probably rate that as a sort of a 8 out of 10, 7.5, 8 out of 10. I'm very fussy. I'm very fussy, as you have probably gone through. And in my head, I have an idea of exactly what I want, and one day I probably will make it. I'll crack on and make it. This is surprisingly a pack that I wouldn't actually have to do anything to. I'll leave it like it is. So it's going to be a toss-up between this one and the old Boreas Buttermilk. So which one I'm taking to turn on my bolt? That's a little bit lighter. But we haven't tested that much. This one's been on a trip. This guy's been carried around the house, so it needs to be taken out, which we've got some time between now and the tour. So we're going to have a shakedown of our actual tour equipment. So go from there. Alrighty, so yeah, that's my take on that. I'm probably going to be using it a lot. I think once you hit like 18, 20 kilos, it's going to start to be a little bit uncomfortable, but most packs are. But yeah, overall, it's probably a buy. I mean, my mate Angus, he's got the 70 litre one, which is essentially exactly the same pack. It might have a little bit more padding in here, but essentially exactly the same pack, but just bigger. And obviously it weighs more. And he seems to find that reasonably okay. We might do a little bit of a breakdown and then do a side-by-side when we're out next to see what that's about. Alright, so that there is the Montane Grand Tour, not the Ultra Tour, the Grand Tour 55. My take on it, yeah. So thank you very much. Remember to subscribe, stick some comments in the comments box. I'd like to have a bit of a conversation and answer some questions. Alright, and I'll see you later.